Thank you, Andrew and Peter. Since I have a Dutch wife, I know how much sticking to the time is important. It's not because lunch is going to get cold, but it takes all these Dutchies a little time to get on their face paint and their crazy wigs for the kickoff of the Oranje at 6 p.m. tonight. This is the reason we're in such a
You remind me.
I would add Hoepallen. Look, I just want to frame my brief remarks to step back and give a little bit of an overview. After the failure of Oslo peace process in the late 90s, after Israel suppressing the second Palestinian Intifada, which I've lived there in Israel for many years. I was there. It was bad. What we're going through now is even more intense. But especially in the wake of the UN Conference on Racism in Durban, the Palestinian camp has had a division of labor where Hamas has largely been the one leading the armed resistance against Israel, while the Palestinian Authority has chosen this Lawfare Campaign in order to put Israel in a vice, and with the help of many Western democratic governments, not only encouragement, but collusion and all sorts of funding of NGOs and all, this Lawfare Campaign has been bearing fruit and culminated in the cases now before the International Criminal Court and the Court of Justice here in The Hague. But because of October 7th, because of what's happening to Israel, because people are starting to wake up to Iran, the Lawfare Campaign was designed to sort of pressure Israel into acceding to a Palestinian state. But with Hamas killing and raping Jews, and with all these legal cases that are spawning the South Africa genocide case, I actually think a lot of our elected officials, a lot of good thinking people realize it's too much. It's gone too far, and therefore we have an opportunity, I believe, to persuade people who maybe a few years you wouldn't have. But Israel, the place they've been put in right now, the vice is too much. And therefore you see the UK intervening in the arrest warrants in the ICC, you see Germany intervening in the genocide case brought by South Africa. And to really push our agenda, help Israel in this battle, we need, first of all, things like Think to inform us, and we appreciate Andrew and Peter, this initiative very, very much, and we're using it ourselves. Some of you have been through their online courses that we help fund, and but it's going to take Christians and Jews, our friend from France, and representing the American Jewish Committee. When I was in Washington, registered to lobby with Congress on Israel's behalf against the tide of Oslo, we got the Jerusalem Embassy Act passed in 1995 because I helped spearhead a lobbying effort by about 300 grassroots activists. It was half Jewish, half Christian. It was more grassroots. It wasn't professional advocates like we have here. And we outflanked AIPAC, which was carrying water for the Rabin administration at the time, and saying this is an American issue where we put our embassy. And even against the tide of Oslo at the time, we got a bill passed because when Christians and Jews, I know we may have some other Zionist pro-Israel advocates, but we're primarily Christians and Jews, when we stand together, if it's truly democratically elected officials we're dealing with, then it's hard for them to say no if we can overcome our differences over the centuries and stand with Israel at this time. I think this is largely a European audience. Europe, in America it's bad, but I think it's even worse here in Europe. You have a media problem. The reason 65% of Germans support a Palestinian state is because this is all you hear on the TV.
Yeah, of course.
And I think we need to get, you need to get creative. In Washington, in Congress, there's a thing called the General Accounting Office, the GAO. They were started out as bean counters, accountants, but it's broadened out where they're research. We said go and research the costs and benefits of a U.S. deployment on the Golan if Israel was to give back the Golan to Syria. This was also around 1995. The rare fact that we were asking the GAO to do this killed the Golan giveaway initiative back in 95, 96, okay? And I think the organization of security and cooperation in Europe, I don't know all the European institutions as well as some of you, but they actually gave a report to Norway, 2012, saying your media and your foreign ministry are so anti-Israel, it has created an anti-Semitism problem in your country. And that organization is sensitive, and where we are now with, problems of Muslim immigrants marching in your streets, the anti-Israelism, the anti-Semitism, that may be a form that you want to explore because it is a pan-European problem.
Thank you, David.